I've got to say that this man's energy and this persona that he has and what he's achieved in the sport and what he is as a human being is quite extraordinary. Ohara Davies is in the studio with us. Ohara, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. It's good to be here, fresh off my fight with Azim. I feel refreshed, relaxed. I've been eating a hell of a lot, and I feel good.
You don't look like you've been eating a hell of a lot. You look in shape, ready for the next one.
I'm always in shape.
What have you eaten this week then? Come on, let's get into it.
I had a McDonald's a couple of times. I had a Five Guys. I had English breakfast. I had a Costa every morning. I had a Starbucks. I had a Chinese. I had an Indian. I had apple crumble and custard. I had carrot cake and custard. I had coconut cake and custard.
Wow, so that on that menu, generally, if you're making 10 stone, and you're 33, aren't you, yeah?
32 years old.
So 32, so you're in your 33rd year. So when you're making 10 stone to fight, you can't touch any of that nonsense, yeah?
This is the hard thing about making weight. The hardest thing about fighting is the dieting. I hate dieting. I hate having to make weight. It's a nightmare.
We're going to have you in the studio for the next 45 minutes. And in the next 45 minutes, if you are listening to this, I want you to tell everyone you know to go back and listen to our podcast and listen to Ohara Davies, because you have had an extraordinary life. We often say how boxing has saved people, how boxing has allowed people to live, how boxing has transformed people. It's done it for you, hasn't it?
Boxing has. It has 100%. A lot of people talk about how the sport's, how it's going to change their lives. And, with me, it's really changed my life. If it wasn't for boxing, I'll be in jail. And I can say that confidently. I'll be in jail or dead. I'll be in jail or dead. I was a criminal. I lived a life of crime. I committed many crimes in my time. I wronged people that shouldn't have been wronged for no reason. And, through boxing, I managed to change.
You're a beautiful human being. I've got to say this.
Do you know?
You are a beautiful human being.
I've known Ohara for a long time. You remember the time I come to your house when we were doing that documentary? And we come to your house many, many years ago, and I met with your family, and I saw where you come from. You took me around the estate where you was doing all the wrongdoings that you were doing, and the hardship that you come from. And so that, boxing giving you that outlet to change your life. The trouble that you was in, it could have gone very, very differently. Boxing was your saviour, and it's giving you a different life today. And that is very important, mate.
It is 100%.
Tell us more about it.
It's why these kids that I see these kids that I see sometimes, in the jail or they're in the streets, and I see these kids and I'm just like, these people are not bad kids. They're just misdirected. And, and they might not be good at maths, English or science. Just like I wasn't good at maths, English or science. But I found something that I could do. And these kids, they might not box, but they might be good at football. They might be good at golf, tennis. But if we don't bring these things and these sports in their area for them to give it a go and to find out what they actually like, they're going to go and sell drugs.
Tell us about where you grew up and what it was like and why these things happened, first of all.
So I'm from Hackney, born and raised in Hackney. A lot of my dad left as I was young, so I was just raised by my mum. She had some mental health issues, so me and my brothers, we had to raise ourselves more times.
From what age?
Oh, from young, from 10 years old. So a lot of the times, my teachers was the people that I'll see in the streets. My friends that I'm with in school. After school, they want to hang out on the streets, and I see the people that sell drugs. We used to call them the hustlers, people that, they have the girls and they walk around with their trousers low and they carry the knives. These are the people that I looked up to, and I wanted to be like that. And then eventually, these people were my idols. And then I continued down that path. And the only thing that saved me was the boxing.
Explain to us how boxing saved you, because, like I say, I went on
How
that
old
journey
were you?
with you
Where were you? Yeah.
many years ago, and I come and saw your family, and I saw your mum, and I saw where you was living. You was very kind, inviting me into your house and showing me the area where you was brought up. Tell us how you got into boxing, how that happened, because it was sort of by accident, really, wasn't it?
It was by accident. I was just in a youth club one day. I was on bail. I was
For what?
for Class A drugs. and they wanted to do me for attempted murder. I was about 17 years old. I was a young kid. These crimes I committed were very bad crimes. I'd done very bad things in my time. And I was just in a youth club one day, and they had a boxing coach that came in every Wednesday. And, you know...
What was his name or her name?
His name was Tony Cisse.
Okay, Tony
Tony
Cisse,
Cisse.
a beautiful human being, originally from Sierra Leone, who has saved the lives of thousands of people. He's a very good friend of mine going back 30 years. He's an extraordinary human being as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, 100%.
So he comes in.
So he came in every Wednesday to come and hold the pads, and it wasn't just me. There was around 30 of us in this, you know, in there. All of us just like me.
Similar
people that
situation.
do crimes, the same situation, all of us just like me. All the people from the hood, we all went and got gloves, and we all went to hit each other. Listen, I'm not trying to hit the pads. I want to hit this guy. I want to hit my friend. We're all in there. It's like a Royal Rumble. Everyone's going there fighting against everyone. And then, so that week, there was about 30 of us. The next week, 25 of us. The next week, 20 of us. The next week, 15 of us. 10 of us, 5 of us. Until it was just me. And I was going there every Wednesday. I was just hitting the pads. And then he took my phone number. He took me to the actual boxing gym. And then I remember going to the gym and I'll throw a good shot. And he'll say, "Yes, son, good shot." And this is the first time in my life that someone said that I can do something good.
Someone encouraged you and recognised what you could do.
Is this Repton ABC as well?
No, this is at the TKO gym in Canada.
TKO, okay.
Because I spent my whole life thinking that I'm a failure because I'm not good at maths, English and science.
Reward and recognition from a father figure.
Absolutely.
No?
Absolutely. And so and then I remember hitting the pads and like, "Yes, son." And then I felt good, and then I wanted to do it again. Yes, I throw it. Yes, good shot. And I was like, wow, I can actually do something good. And then I fell in love with the game. Boxing was not something that I saw myself doing long term. It was just a thing where I'm just doing it for now. But I'm 32 years old now and I'm still doing it. You know, I fell in love with the game from then. And, you know, I've been doing it ever since. And I'm thankful because if it wasn't for boxing, I would have continued down that same path.
Can I say something as a father figure towards you? You are an inspiration. Right now, to anybody listening, you are, and I feel emotional saying it, you are, and I felt it the whole time we've been talking to each other in the last week, you are an inspiration to everybody out there.
And also I'd like to say that, you know, for all the people that think that, you know, the way that you've been on social media and in the past doing whatever you're doing and speaking out like the way you speak out, you're actually a really good soul. You know what I mean?
No
and
question.
I mean that. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in
You
our
emanate
studio.
it. No, you emanate it. You emanate that soul because you've been on a journey that you can teach us and many young people about things. And part of what I wanted to achieve with you tonight, anyone listening who wants to have Ohara Davies as a role model, as someone that will go and speak to people, who will be emblematic of how to bring change. We have knife crime, gun crime, kids without direction in our country, sport, and figures like, if I go and speak to them in Hackney, in the hood as you call it, they don't want to listen to me. They might listen to my educated words, but they will listen to every word you say. And we need to find a platform for you to go and change other people's lives. And that was my objective on getting you in this week.
That sounds good.
Do you, will you, but you are that book.
I am that book. I'm the living version of the book, and I would love to help other people change their lives the same way that someone came and helped me change my life in the way that I lived. That's just one person that came and reached out to me. And if I can reach out to another person, 2 people, if possible, and if I can change their life, if they're on a bad road, and the same time that I might change their life, I might save a life, because these 2 people might go ahead, I might go and kill someone. But now they're not going to do that. Why? Because they're not on the streets, but they're in a gym. They're working hard. They're not on the streets looking for drugs to sell. They're outside running 5K runs. They're out in a boxing gym working hard. This is what it's all about.
The inspirational Ohara Davies is going to be with us for the next 2 or 3, maybe even 3 sections. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. We have the brilliant, he says he's retired, Ohara Davies. He fought Adam Azim. We'll get into that. Fought him in the Copper Box last weekend. Ohara's in the studio with us. We've had an amazing conversation with you so far about your, I wouldn't say even troubled early life. It was just your early life where you were involved in miscreant activities as a teenager, really, but you found boxing. What advice would you give right now, Ohara, to parents, to 14 and 15-year-olds who are caught up in that postcode neighbourhood trouble? What do you say to them? Because there's fear of attack, of reprisal, of picking up a knife to defend yourself. What would you say is the best thing to do?
I think the best thing to do is to get out from that area, because if you've got beef with another person and they're not far from you, these people are going to see you. Sooner or later, they might see you on a bus, they might see you on a train, they might see you on your way to the boxing gym or whatever. And these people, they don't forget stuff. They keep these things in their heart and they don't forget stuff. The best thing to do is to move outside the area, go to a new area, a new neighborhood where you haven't done anything wrong, and you start new and you start afresh, because this could save your life.
Ohara, I want to say though, what if it's not that easy for someone, they can't move? You know, what is the advice then? Like, say, listen, some people are in difficult situations, they can't afford to move. If they come from that area that where, you know, where hardship is quite rife, what's the advice then? What do they do? How do they channel their energy? What do they need to do? What do they need to focus on? Is it like finding sport, doing something?
I think finding sport is the best way. It's the best way and it's the easiest way to get out of it. Once I got into boxing, I remember walking past the street in Hackney when I saw a whole gang that I had beef with. There was around 30 of them in Mare Street. And I remember walking there and I thought, this is the end, because there wasn't anyone else there, it was just me and them. And I'm walking towards them. I'm walking somewhere and they're walking towards me, and the fear in my heart. And I just remember going up to them and I said, listen, I couldn't talk properly because I've got a starter from birth. And and then I can remember in that moment, I just started even more. I was like, listen, I just want to say that I'm not involved. Listen, and they said to me, listen, don't bring up old bones. Go focus on your boxing. That's it. Keep focused. And then I just said, thank you so much. My heart was pounding. I thought I was about to die. But this guy just said to me to focus on the boxing. From that moment, I said, wow, this boxing's really changed things.
It gave you the courage.
I can go anywhere now.
Amazing.
I haven't got beef, and it's not a thing where I said I'm sorry. I just said, listen, I'm not involved anymore. They said, just focus on the boxing.
And
respect? Did they have respect for you because you were boxing then?
But Gareth, that's what it is. Do you know what that's what boxing does for people? It gains you instant respect because it's a gladiatorial sport. Straight away, you get respect from others, and they see that, and they see it as an outlet, and they go, that's what I love. You know what I mean? That is like, because them kids that are in that trouble and in that moment, they're there, it's because they've got nothing to do. You know what I mean? So the only thing they can do is to sell drugs on the street or cause havoc, cause crime, whatever it is. And they see you coming out of that and they go, they're inspired by that.
Definitely. But you know what? At the same time, I say, this game's not easy. It takes the focus, and it's not just like you're in the streets and you're just going to go to the gym and you're that's going to change. No, you need to focus and you need to work hard. You need to put your head down and you need to fight against yourself, against your own desire to want to go back into the streets, because that desire, it will still be there because you want to make the money, you want to get the girls and drive the cars. You have to fight against that, just like I fought against it. I had nothing. I went from, I used to sell drugs here and there. I made maybe a small bit of money to the point where I had nothing. I quit selling drugs. I quit smoking. I quit everything. I had nothing. I go to the gym every day. I had holes in my socks. I used to run outside. I'll come home and my socks are wet because I've got holes in my running shoes. I went to the gym. I had holes in my gloves. I still got some secondhand gloves that I found in the gym box. I would use them. I had nothing, but I focused, and that focus is what anyone needs to get far. But if you want it, it's like if you want it bad enough, you will do it.
So that seminal moment of you, because I think Anthony Yarde told a similar story when he got on a bus one day. He had a similar kind of experiences. He got on a bus one day when there were 30 other people from another gang, and he was like, they were the same. Because he was boxing, they left him alone. Very, very interesting.
It is, yeah. Me and Anthony Yarde are from the same kind of path. We're from the same path. We've had the same life. Our lives are quite similar.
You even shared a bed at one point, and I say that with full respect, that when you were in training camp or when you were fighting, you top-to-toed He said you ate cereals early in the morning. You said he farted all night. Is this true?
Me and Anthony Yarde shared a single bed. It was the worst experience of my life. Sharing a room with that guy. Oh, we had arguments every day.
And you love each other because we love him, by the way.
Do you know what? Can I ask you a question, right? Now you look back on them times where you go like, it don't get any lower than that. It don't get any harder than that. And you both must have had conversations then about where you were going on this journey. Now you've both achieved what you've achieved. Anthony's obviously still going. You've come to the end of your career and had a brilliant
supposedly.
one. Yeah, supposedly. Whatever he decides to do. But even if it stops today, right, you've had an amazing career and you've earned money now and you've changed your life and your path. Do you two ever have that conversation now? Because I know you're still good friends about, wow, man, look back then when we was like that.
I still sit down with him sometimes and like we still talk about it, but it feels like it wasn't real. It feels like we didn't go through that because now life is so different now. Life is so different. We had absolutely nothing, zero, and it's just like it doesn't feel real. But I'm so thankful for where we've got. Not just me and him. Yeah. We've both got far. We both achieved our goals, and we're not having to bump the train anymore. We can pay for the train ticket. Now we got a car. Now we can drive.
I love it.
Where are you now? We're going to talk about your boxing career in a minute, but where are you now in terms of how far you've come? You've really, I know you didn't win against Ismael Barroso at the beginning of the year. You got a flash knockdown early in the fight. It wasn't a great Las Vegas experience, but Jack Catterall, we're going to talk about in a bit because obviously he fights tonight. Josh Taylor, am I thinking? Yeah,
Josh Taylor. Yeah,
Josh Taylor. We're talking about the elite. You only ever lost to the elite. And maybe Adam Azim, who we'll talk about as well, is going to go on to be elite. But are you satisfied with what you've earned and what you've achieved in your career as we go to break in a minute?
I won't say I'm satisfied, but I would say I'm content. I'm content, but I'm not satisfied because, you know, when I think about what I could have done and what I could have achieved, it was a lot more. If, you know, with most times, the moves that I took, the things that I said, the actions that the things that I've done, it halted my boxing career and it got me to a certain place where I couldn't go forward, I couldn't move, and it was only my fault. But you know what? I can't turn time back now. I've got to take the bitter with the sweet, and I'm content. I'm not going to be too greedy. I'm content. I'm not going to try and get what I lost or try and reach for what I could have got. Nah, I'm content. 29
fights, 18 knockouts. Your last fight was Adam Azim. We're going to talk about that and your actual career after the break. You're listening to Fight Night and talkSPORT with me and Spencer Oliver, and we've got Ohara Davies, the brilliant Ohara Davies, in the studio with us. Well, I'm Gareth Davies, Spencer Oliver alongside me until midnight. Ohara Davies, the super lightweight boxer, is in the studio telling us about his life. It's an extraordinary listen, and if you've missed any of it, please go back and listen to it and watch it on our YouTube channel from tomorrow. Coming up in the next hour, we speak to Liam Davis. We're going to preview with Ohara and Spencer the Jack Catterall Regis Prograis fight happening at the Co-op Arena in Manchester tonight, and much, much more. Lawrence Okole's joining us, and we will look back at UFC 308 last weekend as well. All that and more coming up on Fight Night. So, gents, we are back live in the studio. Ohara Davies, you have said, I've had my time in the sport of boxing. You lost to Adam Azim in the 8th round last weekend. I've been a pro for over 10 years now. I started boxing in Hackney, and I think this might be the end of my boxing career. A week on, after an incredible fight, I was in here commentating on and commenting on the fight itself. He was brilliant on the night. His control of distance and range and his shot selection was incredible. You were the big brother in the gym when you used to box at the Peacock gym. Is it really over for you?
To be honest, I fell out of love with the game. I fell out of love with it. And, you know, I decided about a month before the fight, I sent my manager and my brother a message. I said, you know, this fight's going to be my last fight. And, you know, they said, you know what, just don't say anything until the fight's done. Just keep it to yourself. So I kept it to myself. But throughout the whole camp, you know, the way that I felt about boxing at the start, you know, the first time I turned pro, to the way I feel about it now, it's different. it's different. It's just not there. That passion wasn't there, and I don't want to keep on. I don't want to continue to fight on and to damage myself and my reputation that I've built all these years. And you have to know when your time's done. I feel like there's so many fighters in boxing. They should be done, and they don't know when to call it a day. They keep going, even after they fall out of love with this game, and they keep going. I don't want that to happen to me.
Spencer, your career was curtailed 25, 26 years ago by a brain hemorrhage, of course, which we often talk about. Comment on, if you can, as a fighter, what you're hearing from Ohara tonight.
I think that when the fight has left the fighter, it's time to call it a day. And Ohara, I knew that seeing him in the week. I knew exactly where it was. I knew his mannerisms, the way he was. I know it because you see it. When the fight's left the fighter, you go, he's not got it anymore. The fire's left his belly. And that's the worst place to be because, listen, I'm living proof that it's the most dangerous place to be. And Ohara knows that. He knows how tough this game is. People don't understand what you go through day in, day out, the blood, the sweat, the tears. I think it's all glamorous when they see you getting in there and you're boxing and you're winning the belts and everything else. But what you have to, hardship you have to go through to get to that point is insane. It's inhumane, if I'm totally honest. And I go, so if you feel that if that seed of doubt starts creeping in, it's over.
And not just that, I got to a point where I didn't care if I win or lose. I got to a point where I thought it's the taking part that matters. As long as I put up a good fight. The first time I turned pro, I had to win. I'm not losing. Even the fights that I lost, I'm not losing again. I'm fighting, I'm going to win. Winning's the only thing I know. Now it's like taking part's the only thing I know.
Listen, that savage Ohara Davies, that young savage Ohara Davies, when he starts thinking, I don't care if I win or lose, you go, wrong gaff to be in, mate. Wrong place to be in. Time to find another career.
And listen, I still got good fights in me. I can still continue to fight on, can still make some decent money, they say. But I don't want to lie to myself. When the fighter spirit's left you, it's gone. And the person that I was the first time that I got into this game, I was an angry person. Now I'm not an angry person. Life's okay now. I'm doing okay. I meet new people and I'm a social person now. Before I wasn't social, and I'm a different person altogether. I've got a different mind. I'm not gonna damage myself, and I'm not gonna tarnish my reputation that I've built all these years. And when the fight's left you, it's gone.
29 fights in your career, 8 wins via KO. We were looking for that big... You've got extraordinarily long arms, haven't you? And we were looking for that big right hand to land against Adam Azim, but he was brilliant last weekend. Very quickly, before we preview Jack Catterall and Regis Prograis, how good is Adam going to be in your view?
Listen, out of all the fighters I faced in my boxing career, Adam's the best fighter I faced in my boxing career. He's better than the Taylors that I fought, better than the Catterall that I fought, he's better than everyone else that I fought. Adam Azim's the best fighter I fought. And if he can continue that form, that's what I said to him. I said to him, because I've been out of him a few times since the fight, I said to him...
You had lunch and then you had a meal on the Monday,
and then we went to golf.
Sunday, and then you went to golf.
I love that.
I said to him, listen, Adam, so just because you beat me, your success isn't guaranteed. Your success is only dependent on if you continue to listen to your dad and your brother and those that are there for you and your coach. I said to him that the second you think, I'm Adam Azim, I don't need to do this, you're done. You need to you have to keep on doing what you've been doing and you'll be successful.
Amazing. Let's talk about Regis Prograis and Jack Catterall tonight. Very quickly, Spencer, a short analysis. Who wins for you tonight and why?
I think that Jack Catterall wins tonight because he's got the speed of foot that will get him out of trouble. Regis Prograis is great when someone sits in the pocket with him and he can get those big shots off. But as we saw against Devin Haney, boxers and slippery movers make life very difficult for him, and he looks very ordinary and one-dimensional there, and that's why I think that Jack Catterall wins the fight.
Tony Bellew said, Ohara, this week that he thinks that Jack Catterall might be the best 10-stone fighter in the world. He's saying it because that first fight with Josh Taylor, he clearly won but didn't get the decision. He beat him the second time. Jack's probably not lost to anyone. You've been in with him. Analyse the fight for us.
I think Catterall wins the fight. I think Catterall wins because he's young. He's the younger fighter. He's more fresh. He's more hungry. Regis isn't that hungry. He's been around. He's been world champion. He's got money. He's rich. He's a businessman. I don't think the fight is there no more. And it showed in that Devin Haney fight. I think it showed. The fire's not there, but he's still fighting.
He was outboxed almost every round by Devin, wasn't he?
But he didn't really want to. I think he just kind of accepted it. And this is what happens sometimes.
And that's a fighter that knows, by the way, because like you've just been speaking about that experience.
Absolutely. And I feel like Jack's angry. You know why he's angry? Because Jack knows I should be undisputed world champion.
He should have been given those belts when he fought Josh Taylor.
Even though Jack won that second fight, he didn't win no belts. He's not even a world champion when he should be undisputed. So he's angry and he's fresh and he's got that fire in him. Jack wants to win and he wants to win the world title and he wants to get the undisputed. And he's in his country, in his hometown. He's meant to win the fight. And I see Jack winning. I think he either knocks him out or is a bloody one-sided fight where Jack completely dominates him.
Do you agree, Spencer?
Totally agree.
I think Jack Catterall wins on points tonight. Brilliant. I've got to read a couple of things out. The impact you've had on people tonight. Pat the Geezer in Chelsea says, Mr. Davis, use what... That's not me, it's you, obviously, because we're the same tribe, aren't we, brother? Yeah. Mr. Davis, use what you've learnt. Use it with other kids. Open a gym. Use talkSPORT. And all that you know. That's from Pat, who's a friend of the show often. And I've got another one here on Twitter. And someone's tagged in 10 Downing Street and the Prime Minister, by the way. Have you seen that, Spencer?
Yeah, it's blowing up on Twitter.
And it says, this is a man who should be teaching kids how to live their lives. This is from Anders. This guy needs to be assisted to go into schools and teach the youths that there is more to life. Definitely youth cuts have not helped in other areas that are deprived and so on. 10 Downing Street, UK Labour. We hope the message gets out tonight because you're not just a boxer, you're an extraordinary human being. And we said when you came in tonight, we want the beginning of your journey now after boxing to be about transforming other people's lives. And I know that's what you want as well.
I would love that. If I can help out other kids, it's like... the end of one thing is the start of another thing. And this might be the start of something big where I've had my boxing career. Now I can help other kids get off the streets and also do what I'm doing, maybe,
Listen, boxing's just a springboard, mate. The umbrella for the rest of your life. It just molds you and shapes you into what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Boxing is always the very short part of your life. I know this, and it's about where you channel it. Once you lose that identity as a boxer, you go, where's the focus? Where's the direction? What am I going to do? You've got one, mate. You've got a purpose because of your background, where you've come from and what you've achieved. That is inspirational, man. That's massive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I just need to give an update. Jimmy Joe Flint beat Campbell Hatton again. Pat McCormack beat William Andres Herrera in a comeback. This is all at the Co-op Arena in Manchester on the undercard of Regis Prograis and Jack Catterall. Reece Bellotti and Michael Gomez Jr. was cancelled after late notice. Gomez Jr. was apparently declared unfit to fight following a medical check that followed his arrival at the arena. The very talented Junaid Boston stopped Michael Somavaria in round 3. Stay Clark beat Mateusz Pawlowski on points. William Croller, the brother of Anthony Croller, stopped Lorenzo Grasso in the first round, and Joe McCrail beat Lewis Morris on points. We're in the 5th round of very cagey affair between Regis Prograis and Jack Catterall, both southpaws. It looks terrific. Got it on the monitor here. Finally, we just want to thank you again, Ohara, for coming in and spending this time with us. It's felt very special tonight.
Thank you.
We are behind you for the beginning of your new journey after boxing.
Absolutely. I want to campaign, actually, for Ohara Davies to be at 10 Downing Street to, we'll move on to the next chapter of his life.
That would be a dream come true. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Rock and roll. You're listening to Fight Night. Thank you, Ohara, on talkSPORT.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.